Hello and welcome to video 50. I am halfway to 100. I don't actually know if I'm going to make it to 100 because I'm only doing this as long as it stays useful to me, and I don't know if it's going to be useful to me all the way up to 100 videos. But right now I'm still improving and I still have a lot of ways to go. So I'm going to continue doing it. So what have I learned in the last 50 videos? I think I have learned a lot about how to articulate myself on camera and also how to make videos and just reduce the barrier to entry. I think I have a clearer goal around trying to improve now that I've started the project than when I first started. The other thing that I think I have learned or have observed in my own work over the last few weeks, I would say, is that I'm getting increasingly less focused in terms of the topics that I'm trying to talk about. And I think part of that is that I have completely stopped using notes at all. I just turn on the camera and talk about whatever comes to my mind. So it's a complete stream of consciousness, whereas before there was some structure. And I do think that they are less interesting and less satisfying to watch. But I also think that one of the things that makes these videos compelling is the fact that they are a real, honest reflection on what I was thinking about that day. And so I don't want to change that part of it, even though that's not necessarily part of the goal that I'm going for. The whole point of this is just to improve my articulation on camera rather than doing some sort of project where I spill my heart out online. So that's everything that I have in terms of thoughts for video 50. The one thing I do feel is that I wish I had more structure over the topics that I was going to talk about on any given day, because I think it makes it much easier for me as a person to look back on. I think that some of the more confusing and muddled videos with unclear topics, or where I just ramble across many different topics, feel a lot less meaningful to me as a person versus the ones where I have a really focused goal for what I'm trying to articulate that day. And I think that is also a skill, to pick something that I'd like to explain and then continue to hone my ability to explain that, because that's going to be part of my videos on Answer in Progress. And ultimately I'm trying to do this so that I can be better at articulating myself in all other areas of my video production life, I guess. The thing that I'm trying to improve in this video in particular is that I'm going for more of a naturalistic setup. I turn the camera to my desk, which is where my laptop and stuff are, and I thought that this would be a good setup because it's pretty ugly, and also because you can see the light somewhat being motivated by the window. And I thought this would be a good chance for me to experiment with not only using a microphone that is hidden, and also to be using lighting that should theoretically feel more naturalistic. So for context, I am still using my big light that you might have seen in a couple of videos ago, but I decided to try and light it in a way that feels like it's not being lit. I still want it to feel nicely lit, but I don't want it to feel like I am using a production light. And for those who are interested, the way that you do that is actually by filling in the smaller lights first. So you observe what the environment is and where the light is falling and where the light is motivated from, and then you try and use the smallest amount of light, artificial light, the smallest amount of artificial light that you need in order to get the desired effect. That way it will feel a lot more naturalistic than having a huge production where you cut out all of the natural light and then try to recreate it so you can control every element. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. I think I've done a pretty good job. It could feel a little staged still, but I like the fact that the light feels like it's coming from this side and falling across my face. So maybe no one notices that. You know what? There is a really easy way for me to explain or demonstrate what the light is actually doing here. So this is the shot with the light, and then if I just reach up and I turn that off, this is actually what the shot looks like without any light. And you can see it's a lot harsher and it's a lot uglier because the light is actually coming from behind my shoulder and there is a wall right in front of me. And so what I'm trying to do is create an illusion that the light wraps around me, but ultimately in reality that's not the case. So that's kind of what I'm doing here with this light. And You could go even more naturalistic if I wanted to. I could turn it down like so, and then get something even more naturalistic. I don't know how much of the rustling will be picked up by the microphone, because I have pinned a lavalier microphone behind my hoodie. So apologies if it's all just rustling. Yesterday, I noticed that there was a bunch of plosives that were caught by the microphone, and that's something that I'm going to try and resolve by buying some windbreakers, dead cats, that go on top of the microphone, the little fluffy thing. So I am still slowly trying to improve all of the different elements and observing the mistakes, but I like the fact that each one of these is rough around the edges and you can see where I have made mistakes, because it gives me a way to review my mistakes and then improve in the future. So that's the video for today. I hope the more naturalistic effect worked, because that is just something that I am practicing. So that's the video for today.